Now you're probably thinking that these two things have nothing to do with each other. That, I'm afraid, is where you're wrong. I'd like to show you the world of Fallout Equestria. But first, a few things about Fallout. Fallout is a series of post-apocalyptic role-playing video games set across the 22nd and 23rd centuries, with the franchise's story and art style being heavily influenced by the Cold War nuclear paranoia of the 1950s. Fallout, and Fallout 2, were developed and published by Interplay Entertainment in 1997 and 1998 respectively. Then, in 2007, Bethesda acquired the Fallout franchise, releasing Fallout 3 in the October of 2008. Fallout 3 was a big change for the franchise, as it changed from the isometric view of the first two games to a first/third-person perspective copied over from Bethesda's previous titles. This introduced lots of new people to the franchise, however some older fans felt alienated by the change. Fallout New Vegas was released in the October of 2010, however this time it was only published by Bethesda and instead was developed by Obsidian Entertainment, which consisted of people that worked on the original two Fallout games. It would then be 5 long years until Bethesda finally released Fallout 4 in the November of 2015. However, something else happened in the October of 2010, and that something was My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. On the 10th of October 2010, the 4th generation of the My Little Pony animated series aired alongside reboots of other Hasbro properties on a new channel as a joint venture with Discovery Communications called The Hub. On the 19th of October 2010, an essay on the website Cartoon Brew by Amidi was posted, titled The End of the Creator-Driven Era in TV Animation. It was written in response to the new channel and the fact that all its big shows were connected to top toy brands, and spoke negatively about the joint venture, directly referencing My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. This caught the attention of the Comics and Cartoons board on the website 4chan. In response to the essay, they decided to see for themselves if the show was any good. The message board soon realised that the show did not deserve the negativity, and conversations about the show started moving to the other message boards on the website. Then ponies started trending everywhere across the World Wide Web, and thus the Brony fandom was created. And now for our feature presentation, Fallout Equestria. Fallout Equestria is a crossover fanfiction between My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic and Fallout. It was written by an anonymous individual who goes only by the name KCat. The story was first published in the April of 2011 and was completed in the December of that year. It spanned 45 chapters, not including the prologue, the introduction, the epilogue, and the afterword, and consisted of 620,295 words, which makes it one of the longest self-published works of derivative fiction in existence, at 33,008 more words than War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. It has become one of the most critically well-received derivative works in the My Little Pony community, and has a substantial following that has produced many works of art, literature, music, animations, and even a fan-made game going by the name of Ashes of Equestria. To get a better understanding of this following, I decided to go to BronyScot 2017 to ask some questions about Fallout Equestria to some of the attendees. CaptainHoers, tell us a bit about yourself.
So I'm a artist / writer / animator / dabbler of all kinds of things. I started really taking my creative work seriously in about 2011 when I started a blog called Ask Fire Started Spitfire. That's around the same year that I started getting into pony things. I would have started getting into Fallout Equestria about 2 years later. It's a bit of a funny story because I'm sure I'll cover bits of it in more detail later. But I first got introduced to it by way of a read-along blog that was actually criticizing it because at the time it was kind of at the height of its popularity, and this was when it became a sort of a target for me to parody, because I thought it was a little bit overblown. I mean, that's just my opinion, and I have a lot of opinions.
Fuzzy, I guess I'll call you by that alias.
Yeah, works.
So tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I currently work in the games industry. I worked in marketing before, funnily enough, for Bethesda at one point, doing some of the marketing for Skyrim and the like. So, but that was weird. That was actually around the time I started writing for Fallout Equestria at Murky number 7, after I'd been reading Fallout Equestria itself. So, in general, with that, it really just kind of pulled me into that there and think, hey, there's something a wee bit off the beaten chart. Let's give it a shot, see how it goes. And then after maybe trying a couple of chapters of that, and suddenly say, hey, this is picking up. Whoa, this thing I'm just writing a recursive side fiction for is suddenly getting a lot of viewers. I think I got to finish this thing now. And so it continued through the next 6 years. So I wrote Fallout Equestria, Murky number 7, off of that backing of a bit of a surprise for me as much as any.
So can you tell us a bit about yourself?
My name is Michael Moore. I came here from the United States to attend this convention, BronyScot. Not much to say much about. I'm mod a little bit in Fallout, and I have fun doing it.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is David, alias Scribble Sketch. I am an artist, graphic design student, excuse me, and a voice actor and director of public relations with the Post-Apocalypse Broadcasting Studio.
The story mainly takes inspiration and references from Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and the first season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, with it only making some references to the original 2 Fallout games and the second season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Did it inspire you in some way to like create art or get involved, write your own side effects or something?
It did inspire me. Like I said, I made the mods. I made the mods for Fallout. I made bobblehead mods, pony related. In Fallout, I made plushie mods, pony related in Fallout. I made some texture mods to replace the moon and certain things in Fallout, and it was all inspired by reading Fallout Equestria.
But yeah, that's how I ended up writing 2 Fallout Equestria side stories and making a parody animation of it. In fact, I'm still writing that second story, even as I now have like a proper job and have barely any time to dedicate to it. So that's me and my childish hobbies.
So obviously you're part of CAP, so did it inspire you in some way before you formed this collaborative project?
I wasn't around for the formation of it. I joined a little late into the project. But yeah, the fact that they were working with Fallout Equestria was the sole motivator with it, because it was something that I had found incredibly compelling to work with, and being given the opportunity to contribute to something I thoroughly enjoyed was just too good of a chance to miss.
It obviously inspired you to write your own piece, didn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about...
Yeah, how that came to be. I've been writing for some time before that, generally all through my life in different spurts. If there's one thing that really came to my mind quite a lot is the theme of escape in writing stories. I never even intended it at first, but everything I wrote seemed to share this same theme of escape in one way or the other. So when I was reading through Fallout Equestria and starting to see that other people were creating their stories based on this, seeing Pink Eyes, seeing Project Horizon, seeing all these other ones that had come up at that time, and think, well, hey, I could give this a shot. I know I can write. I can try this out. And after coming across the chapters involving Philadelphia, which is all based around an escape from a slave city, I started to get very interested, thinking, hey, that matches up with the type of stories I often think of or write. Maybe I could use something to do with that. Started building up some ideas in my head, started attaching it to locations in there, and then as I was completing my first week of marketing, funnily enough, for Bethesda, was when those ideas really started to become a thing, and it sort of took on a life of its own. I had notepads, I had music playlists to get into the mood for it, And maybe a few months after that, maybe just under a year, maybe after that point, I found myself starting writing chapter 1. And from there, it just sort of flew onwards. And every single chapter that came out, I noticed the numbers going up. I noticed more people commenting, getting into it. I've been incredibly lucky with the response it's had. But that was really what drew me in to just keep going and actually finally start writing this thing all the way to the end. So it was the surprise of it that grew out of similar themes, to sum it up.
There are also many audiobooks of Fallout Equestria, two of the most notable of which are Fallout Equestria The Manhattan Edition by the Gardens of Equestria team, and it is available on YouTube and for download from the Gardens of Equestria website. And the other is Fallout Equestria The Official Audiobook, which plans to solve the problems of previous audiobooks by actually having a budget. Fallout Equestria has also had physical copies printed, with the first printing being completed in 2012 and consisting of 5 volumes. The second printing started in 2013, however it encountered some issues, and it wasn't until 2014 until it was completed. This time it consisted of 2 volumes and cost a lot less money. The third printing began in 2016 and consisted of a single volume made of practically transparent Bible-style pages. A friend of mine managed to acquire one of these 3rd edition printings and has allowed me to have a look at it and ask him some questions about it.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm an amateur artist working towards becoming a professional. I got into art because of My Little Pony. I work in digital and I also work in traditional art.
How did you find out about the physical copy?
I was at a meetup and one of my friends said he'd bought a copy and he was showing me pictures, and it's a beautiful book.
And you just knew you had to have one?
Yes, I just had to have one.
Whereabouts did you purchase the book from?
I bought it from the Fallout Equestria website. Unfortunately, it was after the deadline to order, but I put my name down on a shortlist and I was able to get a copy when someone backed out.
Why did you want a physical copy of the fanfiction?
I saw pictures of it and it's a thing of beauty. It's almost an artifact. It's like an old-timey book. It's got gold edging. The front is very beautiful but understated. Just love the look of it.
How long did it take to arrive?
From when I purchased it to my door, it took about 2 weeks.
Are you interested in getting any of the other physical copies, such as Fallout Equestria Pink Eyes?
I'll have to look into the stories before I spend money on a physical copy.
Despite some varying opinions, Fallout Equestria is a well-written story with strong characters, and it has inspired many creative people to pursue their passions, and it will continue to do so for quite some time. I'm looking forward to the future, to all the projects currently in progress, to all the people currently involved. I wish the best of luck.
Started out with a look, sapphire eyes just to get me cooking. I knew I'd have you by hook or crook that night. You walked me back to my place with bad ideas on my mind and my face. No rhyme or reason, it's just the season for love. Last night a little birdie told me I might not have your heart on to dig, but this town ain't too big, and the walls are starting to talk. Spring flings come and go